This is a big day in history. The Seahawks social with Denny Dumas
And Lucas McCann,
and Chester.
our mascot.
We're super pumped to be starting this Seahawks social podcast. Basically all things Seattle Seahawks, because we love the Seattle Seahawks.
Yep.
What you're going to hear on this podcast is our unbiased / extremely biased take on the game that happened yesterday.
Super biased because we're all things Seahawks.
Wait till you hear episode 1. It's pretty biased, guys. It'll be very, very biased. We absolutely love the Seattle Seahawks. Everything about them, Pete Carroll, Paul Allen, all the way down the line. We absolutely love the Seattle Seahawks. And we're going to be sharing our inside scoop take review on the game from the weekend.
Super professional. We're analysts. And
we
get
have
paid
absolutely no
millions of dollars for this.
We have absolutely no background in sports broadcasting, but we do have a background in the love for the Seattle Seahawks, and we're pretty pumped to share it with you guys. Lucas,
Yes.
we'll get to Chester afterwards, but where did your love for the Seattle Seahawks begin?
My love began when I moved to the West Coast. So it would have started I was 10 years old is when I started picking up sports. It was never really a big thing in my household.
I hope the story gets a lot better, Carl.
It does. It's epic. So I grew up all things Rough Riders, CFL, but it was boring as fuck to me. I just couldn't do it. It just wasn't me. Came to the West Coast a few years later, working at Earl's, and the Super Bowl happened. 2005, Seahawks made it, and it just destroyed me as a fan. From that day, I became an NFL fan.
I don't know if you know my story about my passion and love for the Seattle Seahawks.
Nope.
You might be upset with me because it started exactly 3 weeks prior to your love for the Seattle Seahawks. So it was 2006, I believe. 2006.
Which?
So I was 16 years old. I was at the divisional playoff game against Tony Romo and the Dallas Cowboys.
So the year that they went to the Super Bowl? Mm-hmm. So the year they went to the Super Bowl was actually 2005. I looked this up.
Can you look it up, Carl?
I looked it up. 2005 XL.
All right.
Super Bowl XL.
Well, then it was 2005.
You were 15 years old.
I was
12 years old.
15 or 16 years old. I was in the upper deck on the 40-yard line, though. Great seats. Watch my first ever live NFL game. Seattle, Matt Hasselbeck.
That was your first game
Sean
you've ever
Alexander,
went to?
First ever
Oh my
game.
God, Sean Alexander was the beast before the beast.
Oh, he won an MVP.
Yeah.
It was like a minute 6 or minute 9 or something like that left in the game. Tony Romo fumbles the snap, picks it up, and is running towards the goal line to score. Would have been game over. From behind, Carl, you got to look this up. Who was it? I should know this. We're going to know this. Guys, we're going to be way more prepared for the episodes, but we're just sharing.
We'll just do it like most radio stations. We can look it up. We have technology, people. People don't need to know when they're listening to us, so we have no idea what we're talking about.
The contrast of quietness when Tony Romo picked up his fumbled snap and is running towards the goal line to the absolute craziness, sounded like an earthquake, of him getting tackled on the 1-yard line and the Hawks winning that game was absolute insanity to me. And I just fell in love with the atmosphere. It was crazy. I high-fived more people in that next 10 minutes than I have in my whole entire sports career.
So we are kind of on the same page of years. So it was the 2005, 2006 year. So 2006 was when the playoffs were happening because of January.
Thank you. So I did win.
We're I'll give that to you. Sure. That was the same year that I became a super fan. So I'm working a restaurant job at Earl's downtown Vancouver. Been there for, what's that, 2006 now? So I've been there for 5-6 years.
I hope this story gets a lot better, bro.
I'm serving tables in the dining area or in the bar area, but I work in the dining area. So the dining area is super dead, which is because I'm the only server in this restaurant. The other area, I'm getting hammered. I'm drunk. I'm watching the game. I'm loving everything that's going on because I have no tables. Because nobody's sitting over here. Everybody's watching Seahawks in the Super Bowl.
Can I just point one thing out?
That I'm hammered working?
No, you're dating yourself. That I was 15 watching the game, and you're getting hammered at work.
Well, do we want to talk age right now?
Keep going. You're saying? Keep going with your story.
At the end of the day, our work is giving out tickets. They're free tickets, tickets to a game next year, to a Seahawks game the next year, and it's a raffle, whatever. I ended up winning that, and I took Lindsay, my girlfriend at the time, my wife now, to our first game the year after, and that's when I became a super fan. It was my first game ever. I wasn't at a game yet. You were at the game before I've ever been at a game.
Are you mad that I was at that game? It was a pretty phenomenal game in terms of my Seahawks love.
At the moment, I'm super mad because of if I could go back in time and have that love I have now for it, it would be a whole different experience, knowing what's going on. But having the tickets and going to the game, my first game that I ever went to was an epic game that in a tailgate party beforehand made the game super foggy, but the experience itself was pretty epic, and it made my wife a super fan as well. So I like that.
Basically, the point of this podcast is going to be us sharing our reviews on the game and our extreme love for certain players and disgust for others when they fuck up. But I'm so pumped to just have this opportunity, and I'm so pumped for you guys to come along for the ride. I think, you know what? It would be pretty cool to have a bunch of Seahawks fans like comment and share, and
I would like to see a call-in show at one point.
We've talked, 100%. Oh, we will absolutely get to that.
So we're going to do an Instagram poll because just easy, throw it on stories or whatever, of some questions and whatnot. But then we have to have a super fan or a non-super fan, some fan of some sort call us, and we can either rag on him because this team is shit and they lost against us, or they are a super fan of Seahawks, and maybe one day we get somebody on here. Can I tell you this right now? My dad is friends with John Ryan. Maybe. I know he's over, done, but it's something. We're moving somewhere. We're going in the right direction.
Pete, I just like to say hi to Pete on the show.
Who's Pete? Carol.
Pete's going to be on the show. Pete, season 2 is going to be on the show. 2019, 2020, based on my prediction, the Seahawks are going to win the Super Bowl.
We should be undefeated if Pete didn't get a ball to his face in warm up.
He did have a rough warm up that game.
That was.
But we're being too specific.
We're talking about simulation
Lucas,
again.
This is the intro.
Sorry.
Guys, we're going to have a hell of a ride with this Seahawks podcast. The Seahawks Social.
SSDL.